Hey everybody. One of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard was by Gandhi, and he was holding a march, and many people came from miles around to march with him. And after the first day of the march, he realized how many people had left their homes and their families to go to this march. And he decided to call the march off. And he asked the people around him, his companions, his followers and whatnot, and told him what he was going to do. And they said, "Gandhi, you can't call it off." He's like, "So many people came from so far around." And Gandhi says, "I've decided that, it wasn't the right thing to do." And they said, "But what about all these people?" He says, the quote was, "My dedication must be to truth, not to consistency." And that's the quote. I must be dedicated to the truth, not to consistency. Sometimes I feel like that's a rule I really have to live by, and I really try to live by. It's that when I find something that doesn't fit what I believe, I'm willing to change my opinion at the drop of a hat, providing that the information is there, that there is empirical evidence that convinces me otherwise, to beyond what I've already learned. And, Gandhi was so right, when a person really looks back, realize, consistency is what gets us in trouble, because we've believed a certain thing so long, or felt a certain way so long, and we don't want to break our mold. Time and time again, I've realized certain things that I once thought were true weren't. And when I started to realize the wool that had been pulled over my eyes by, the so-called elite, or, them, the Illuminati, whatever people choose to call them, some of the names don't fit very well, but a lot of them, basically, they all lead back to the same thing, people that are running this world. And so my dedication to truth has changed, and my consistency varies, One time I'll make a video about something, and then a year later I'll regret it, and I'll look back and say, oh, okay, I understand where I was wrong. And it's really hard for people to admit that they're wrong sometimes, and, it shows humility, and I think that everybody needs to, everybody learns to do it in their own way. And it's all about respect for the truth, because truth is it deserves its own respect. But I don't know what it is, the truth is, and I don't know if it can ever be captured. And it really got me thinking about, if you are dedicated to the truth and not consistency, that means that you're ever changing and you're morphing, so therefore your truth is consistently changing. So do you ever really find any answers? And it kind of, as I'm sitting here, I'm just, I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're willing to change your ideas all the time, then you're going to, because you're going to learn new things. And it makes it harder to establish a firm root in what you believe. And some people will say, oh, what religion are you? It's so far beyond that. And even if they say, like, oh, do you believe in an afterlife? You can't just express that in terms. It's not, everybody has a completely different belief system. Like the other day I was talking with my buddy, and he was saying how he was talking with someone online about the afterlife, and the guy was calling him a fool because the guy was an atheist, and he was saying, well, I don't think it's an afterlife, I just think that it's, an energy force goes to somewhere else. But people aren't even willing to consider that, and that's because people already are dedicated to their consistent belief in a certain thing and a way of thinking. They don't even ask for evidence anymore. They just and they don't want to provide any evidence. They just want to say this isn't true or this is true. So with that Gandhi quote, we can all live by that one, I think. My dedication must be to truth, not to consistency. Right to y'all. Peace.